Preeta Gupta, I want to come to you first. A reality check today, would you reckon, because you'd want to pitch it as a battle between the BJP and the AAP, Arvind Kejriwal today walks out of the Vadodara airport to huge chants of Modi, Modi.
Preeti, these kind of things only tell us how big of a threat Aam Aadmi Party is to Bharatiya Janata Party in Gujarat. As far as Congress is concerned, Preeti, we have seen it in Gujarat and we have seen it in all over the country that the Congress MLAs just get bought over and they join Bharatiya Janata Party. So Congress is nowhere to be seen. The battle is between Aam Aadmi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party. And the reason that the Bharatiya Janata Party has been ruling Gujarat for so many years is because there has been no real opposition to Bharatiya Janata Party. Otherwise, if you look at the so-called Gujarat model, what do we see in the Gujarat model? After 25 years, there are no decent schools, there are no decent hospitals. And today we saw how all the Sarkari Karamcharis are out on a strike against the government because, the government has not managed to restore their pensions. This is the same government which has a debt of 3 lakh crores on its books, and it goes ahead and buys a private jet for the chief minister for 200 crores. So this is the reality of the Gujarat model, Preeti, where we see that only the friends of Bharatiya Janata Party become richer and richer, whereas the common people of Gujarat, the small businessmen of Gujarat, they are in very bad shape, and there is a lot of anger against.
But Preeta Gupta, you say there is no opposition in Gujarat, but that's incorrect. If you just look at the figures of 2017, 41% vote share went to the Congress, 49% is what the BJP won with, 77 seats to the Congress, 99 to the BJP. So it wasn't that there was no presence or no opposition there. There's been anti-incumbency and the Congress has been riding it. But I'll come right back to you, and I want to take that question to Rohan Gupta as well. But I'll bring in Rajdeep Sardesai. I think we have him right now. Rajdeep, for somebody who's been tracking Gujarat politics for a while, 25 years, the BJP has been ruling Gujarat, literally so. But the narrative that the Aam Aadmi Party is trying to build, BJP versus the Aam Aadmi Party, clearly edging out the Congress in this completely, taking the space which seems to be readily ceded by the Congress.
Preeti, we have to look at Gujarat in two ways. One is in terms of the past. And if you looked at the past, you'd say that the Aam Aadmi Party is creating castles in the air. Remember, they just won 24,918 votes and 0.1% of the vote share in 2017, lost all seats. So therefore, if you looked at 2017 as your prism, then you would say that this is a fight between the BJP and Congress. The BJP close to 50%, Congress around 40%. However, if you looked at it from the point of view of the narrative, I think what the Aam Aadmi Party, Preeti, has successfully done this time in Gujarat is managed to set the narrative. Whether it is the so-called Revdi culture, as the Prime Minister described it, in terms of the offerings that Arvind Kejriwal is giving in terms of education, health, a stipend for women, these are all issues which have resonated and forced even the Congress to announce that they too will give several promises and, got the BJP to respond to the promises Mr. Kejriwal is making. So the narrative in terms of focusing on issues like health, education, offering these so-called freebies, Mr. Kejriwal has set the narrative. Is the narrative enough to get additional vote share? Remember, you start winning seats, Preeti, only when you cross 30% at the very minimum. So it would require a huge swing of the kind that the AAP last saw only in Delhi in 2014, in 2015 and 20. Gujarat, much larger state, more complex. However, because they've set the narrative, naturally there's disproportionate importance being given to Mr. Kejriwal. And as you rightly said, Mr. Kejriwal has attempted to make this election now AAP versus BJP and squeeze out the Congress. In Punjab, he made it about AAP versus Akalis and Congress and squeezed out any other party from the narrative. Here, he's trying to squeeze out the Congress. And because the Congress has invested so much at the moment in its Bharat Jodo Yatra, it seems, at least from an external perspective, that they aren't doing enough on the ground in Gujarat.